And I took that first month.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever on the world. Tonight's edition of Hong Kong House of Cards Vampire Edition, where the prince is calling his clanmate slash gangrel Primogen to speak to him in his office. So you of course know where his office in the Elysium is, and so when you arrive, Liam will be sitting in his chair with the red-handled sword laid across the desk. It looks like he's dressed what would be considered normally for him now in the Winchester garb, as I like to call it, with his armor and his shield and his gauntlet on the armor stand that's standing next to his armoire.
Yep.
Hi, Raven. Please come in.
Yep. Raven comes on in. Raven is not wearing her, she's not all done up like she would be in other scenes, considering, it's a clanmate thing, so she's just going to be herself.
Right. Please, take a seat.
She'll go ahead and sit down.
It's been suggested to me that perhaps me personally being the speaker for our house is not the wisest of options. I understand that's how things happened with Becker, but I do think she put herself out there more than she really should have.
Yes, that's an unfortunate side effect of taking the mantle of representation.
But it comes down to me also not wanting to put anybody that could be considered vital to the security and safety of the city and its people into that sort of position as well. I understand that the names of the speakers are known, and as well as certain contact information. Should that be used against them in the future, I would prefer it not happen to my advisory council, nor my keeper, nor my scourge, or sheriff. So I'm here asking you, as Premisel of Clan Gangrel, and as one who knows the citizens of this city far better, do you have any that you would put forward to be speaker for the House of Staves to carry my voice and my will to the populace?
There are a few people that I imagine would be very good for this task. They each have their advantages as well as their drawbacks. First person that comes to mind, she's been in the city for so long. However, she's also Primogen herself, but Miss Ramirez.
As I understand, Miss Ramirez also sits on the council as the devil.
Yes, that is the first issue with that. The second one is I don't know too much about her dealings with the other supernaturals, but she is quite friendly with them. And not in a professional sort of way, if you catch my drift. Not in a biblical sort of way, but...
Oh, you had me worried there for a moment, please.
Sorry about that.
And which person would this be?
I believe she's called him Jason. She's at least okay with him. She also maintains the museum, which means she does have quite a bit of visibility already. However, she has quite a bit of visibility already.
The only unfortunate thing is that there's nobody who to replace her as Tremere Primogen.
She'll nod.
What do you think of... what was his name? Slide of Clan Nosferatu.
Slide. I can't say I've had heavy dealings with him, so I'm not quite sure. However, I do know the Nosferatu as a whole have contributed quite a bit to this city.
The reason why I ask is he seems like he's a friendly sort, but he does seem shy. I mean, the only time I've ever really seen him was when he was doing something that he was supposed to be doing for the city. Does he ever leave the sewers?
I can count the amount of times I've personally interacted with Sly on one hand.
then that's probably not for the best then. And as he reigns as Primogen, I do not wish him to be considered for this position as well. So that handles the Tremere and the Nosferatu. Of Clan Gangrel, the only other person besides yourself I would put up would be Liliana. And unfortunately, Liliana would be considered an Nkanu. She does not hold any loyalty to the Camarilla as a whole.
Out of character, when you said Nkanu, did you mean Autarchus?
No, literally he said Nkanu.
What the fuck? I don't have the lore for that. Okay. Raven's not sure how to respond to that. She doesn't know what an Nkanu is. Something to ask later. She doesn't need to know right now.
Yeah.
So she'll say, over on the Ventrue, there is Mr. Hironori.
Ah, yes. He has been decorated for his service to the city and the cause of the Camarilla. He would be an interesting person to put up for this position. Do you think his Primogen would take offense to it?
Other than yourself taking the praxis, that would make it the second time Mr. Cuthbert would be passed over for an appointment to another position in court.
But this is not a position in court. This is a position in the welfare of the city as a whole. And he is Primogen, therefore he is of the advisory council, therefore he should not be made visible. His ties to my keeper as well put him in an indelicate situation. Plus, there's the fact that I did not believe that he would fully convey my voice. I believe he would try to usurp it. These Ventrue these days, they're so different from the ones that I knew growing up. It's quite disturbing.
You've mentioned that the Ventrue tended to be knights when you were around. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case.
The closest one I've seen to picking up a weapon and fighting for the city is Satoshi. Now, granted, my keeper is dutiful and fast on her responses. Therefore, she is prime for this position. So far, the only one I've not seen that has proven himself as effectively as Cuthbert.
She'll nod. And if you don't have absolute faith in him, if not him, then his abilities.
He has the abilities to be Primogen, and he does have considerable sway with the politics of the city, as well as his own grasp on human influence. However, as Primogen, I do not believe he is fit for the position, as he must remain in the shadows, as it were. Are there any amongst the Malkavian or the Bruja that you would recommend, or even among the Assamites?
The Assamites, I don't know well enough to offer a concrete recommendation. As for the Malkavians,
you'll see him then slap his hand down on the table. That Assamite is still in the cellar, isn't it?
Oh, dear God, yes, it is.
They never sent the person to pick them up.
I wonder if an Assamite respects prestation.
Typically they do. At least the ones I knew back in the day when they were, what's the word I'm looking for? Mercenaries.
She'll nod.
Anyway, the only other Assamite in the city that I'm aware of is Mr. Schultz, the Primogen. So perhaps not a good way to go. You had an idea on Malkavian, though.
Yes, the Malkavian Primogen and the Whip. I am no stranger to the peculiarities of the curse of the Malkavians. And thus far in this city, the most lucid one I've seen is this newest one.
Hey, this Lane,
Yeah.
though I hear he's been spreading visions.
Yes, he said that he had. When I first met him, he told me he had seen a vision that alluded to me.
Perhaps he would be better set for a position on the council itself, maybe the Wheel of Fortune.
Perhaps.
I'd like you to see about working on that. I understand that our previous Wheel of Fortune is gone.
She'll nod and she'll say, I'll see if I can't get a good read on his talents and see if he's a good fit for that position. Unless you already feel that he is, in which case.
Get a feel on him first. There may be others within the city that would be a better fit. Now, as for the Bruja, I haven't seen Mr. Mr. Drake around lately. I don't know what's going on with him. As for Alex, he is the Primogen and therefore should remain in the shadows. For the Malkavian, the only other one I've seen that seems to have any kind of sense is the Whip, and he speaks more as Primogen than Samuel does. However, he defers to Samuel, therefore I will continue while Samuel is Primogen, but I do not believe that the Whip should be made the speaker either. So it sounds like we have one highly viable option. Would you please give Mr. Satoshi a call and see if he'll join us tonight?
I'll be more than happy to.
Thank you. Now to see if we can get Kim in here. She was having connection issues before.
Ooh, she's here. I'm sending her a PM.
Awesome. Holy crap. Stephen Amell showed up in camo booty shorts for John Barrowman's birthday. Probably not something I should be saying on over live, but it's just like, what the hell, really? There's Kim. You thought I was done with you, but you were wrong.
Bring it on.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, roll initiative. No.
Boo party. Anyway, go ahead, Tim, with what?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No problem. Tim, go ahead with what you were going to do with Kim, and then we can have her come in.
All right. Wherever Satoshi is at right now, he's going to be getting a call.
Okay. Probably in his haven.
Mr. Hironori, good morning. Or good evening, rather. Sorry. Linguistic habits.
But it's not a problem. What do you need, Miss Raven?
Myself and Prince Liam are... We would like a moment of your time. If tonight right now is possible, then please. I'm sorry for the short notice.
Of course.
It's a decision that must be made rather rather soon.
No problem. I will be there momentarily.
I look forward to seeing you.
All right, so we'll basically just fast forward. You arrive, and the one ghoul that walks around wearing a Irish tartan will take you up to the prince's office, knock on the door, and Liam will ask Raven to open the door.
Which she will go ahead and do.
All right, so when you come in, you notice that Liam is wearing what I refer to as the Winchester garb, which is the flannel with the blue jeans and the boots and the t-shirt underneath. He's sitting in his desk. He's sitting in his chair behind his desk. Laying across his desk is the red-handled sword that everybody has come to realize never leaves Liam's possession. Please, have a seat. Raven, thank you. Please have a seat. Please retain your seat as well.
Raven goes ahead and does so.
I'll go and take a seat.
How well do you know of the inner workings of the council that supposedly governs supernatural interactions within the city?
Who's he asking that to?
To Hiranori.
Okay. Do you mean the Tarot Council?
Aye.
I know a bit of what they do. I've seen the various, I suppose one would call it, as well as the houses and everything.
Well, it has become apparent to me that putting myself in such a visible position in the city is not the wisest thing to do. As such, I also do not see the need to set this upon my primogen as well. It's why I'm here asking you, Hiranori Satoshi, to take up the speaker position for the House of Staves, to carry my voice and my will to the people of this city in regards to all matters kindred.
I would, if you believe that is the wisest course of action, I would be honored to have the place as speaker.
He'll nod his head. He'll take out a key card that is made out of, I think it's silver or gold or something like that, and place it in front of you. This is the key card of the speaker for the House of Staves. That is now yours. Now I trust that my voice will not be usurped in this manner, as it probably would be by your primogen.
I would never consider such a thing. That's Liam.
Good. Good. One thing that I do want you to work on is finding members of our organization that would be fit for positioning within the council itself. Be them primogen or not is no concern of me, as long as they fit the positions that are desperately needed in the city. I've asked Raven, I'll also ask you as well, to take a look at this lane of Clan Malkavian. If he is as prophetic as he seems, he may be a perfect position for the Wheel of Fortune.
I've met him once or twice today, but I have no.
Well, it's always been my impression that if you listen to the Malkavians, sometimes they'll have interesting things to say.
Indeed. I will get to know him better and decide if he would be.
Very well. Raven, we've already discussed everything else that we were needing to talk about. I believe this concludes our business for the evening. By the way, is there anything going on out there that I need to be aware of?
As far as I know, I haven't heard too much, other than just Out of character, would Raven have at least heard about the scattered like engagements with zombies and shit?
If there were any vampires involved, it would probably have gotten passed around a little bit.
All right. I'm just gonna take a little bit of leeway with Spies 4, if you let me.
That's good, yeah.
All right. She'll just she'll just say straight out then. The only thing that I really know about are just other scattered engagements with the non-sentient Walking Dead.
Mordecai's brood. Have we had any luck in pinpointing positions? Also, I heard about the thing that happened with the lighthouse. Have either of you gained any reports from the Allisters?
Not myself, no. However, it's something that I can check on and relay back to you if you need.
I would appreciate it. Any information you can gain from Alistair's, Blackthorn, and my sheriff would be greatly needed. I have to find out why a Tremere Elder ended up in hell.
That's why the birds were shouting about fire. Okay.
He's gonna look at you. I'll just look at you like, what did the bird say?
A lot about fire and darkness and sucked in. Also a lot of crying.
Aye. Well, I can only hope that this Tremere can find her way out of hell without being corrupted. Such things are frowned upon in the Camarilla. And then he'll lay a hand on his sword, and by this particular administration. If there's nothing else, have a pleasant evening. Hironori, you and I will discuss other things as they come up in regards to what needs to go before the council.
Of course.
Oh, pleasant evening.
Raven will she'll just kind of perk up and say, "Oh, there was but one matter I did need to speak with you about, but it was mostly a clan matter."
Huh. Mr. Satoshi, if you would please, I need to discuss something with my Primogen.
Of course. A pleasant evening.
Pleasant evening.
He'll take the card, bow, and look at it.
I'm going to have some things to post tonight on the website.
Yep. All right. So as Hironori leaves, Raven's going to make damn sure he's gone. She'll turn and say, "Just in case, while I trust Hironori to not attempt to usurp your seat of power, I still worry about Cuthbert and his ways. They are, after all, both Clan Ventru, and Cuthbert's being a Primogen can put pressure on Satoshi that we may not know about. I'll make sure to keep an eye on him to make sure that your words are not tainted in any way."
Your diligence in this matter is appreciated, Primogen. Do what you feel is necessary to protect the sovereignty of the city.
Raven will kind of stand up and curtsy, not bow. Damn it. And she'll say, "Very well then. And with that, shall I take my leave?"
You shall. Oh, if you happen to see the bow, tell her to keep her dogs off my fucking resting place.
Understood.
Thank you.
And so Raven will go ahead and leave.
All right, and that'll do it for this. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Tonight's been another edition of Hong Kong House of Cards Vampire Edition. So Remember, if your prints rest in a specific spot of ground, don't have your dogs poop on it. Have a good night.